Good morning. A couple of you last week mentioned Jeremiah 17. Thank you. So I thought we might look at it in a bit more detail. When Jesus was on earth, he used words to paint pictures. He spoke of sheep in a sheepfold, a field oversown with weeds, a woman looking for a drachma. These pictures stay with us. Now, Jesus got this method of teaching from his Father, and we have many sort of illustrations of this sort in Jeremiah 17. Verse 1 says this: "The sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron, with a point of diamond. It is engraved on the tablet of their heart." These tools were known in those days, which is quite amazing. The Romans called diamond adamus, from which we get our word adamant, meaning hard. The sins of the Judeans was so bad, their hearts were so hard, it needed a diamond-tipped tool to etch the sins on their hearts. The Lord was so angry that he says this in verse 4. He said that they were going to lose the heritage that God had given them, that's the land of Israel. "I will make you serve your enemies in a land that you do not know, for in my anger a fire is kindled that shall burn forever." Can you imagine a fire so great that it burns forever? And it has burnt, because we have the record of the sin of Judah, which was so bad. We have that record forever. It goes on in verse 5 to say, "Cursed is the man who trusts in man and makes flesh his strength, whose heart turns away from the Lord." I'm not sure if Watchtower's governing body has read this, but we cannot trust them because they are humans, and they should never say to people, "Trust in us." We trust the Lord, we trust Jesus Christ, and we trust the Bible implicitly. We do trust our friends to a certain extent, but our friends are as frail as we are and cannot help us all the time. So we trust in the Lord. If we don't, it says that we're like a shrub in the desert, we won't see any good come. If you're a plant in the desert, you might survive if you're a cactus, but otherwise you'll shrivel up and die. No good will come. However, verse 7, "The man who trusts in the Lord, whose trust is the Lord, is like a tree planted by water." Centuries ago, the River Jordan was very wide, had plenty of water. If you were a tree planted beside it, you would have plenty of water, and the growth of that tree, its leaves, its fruit, would be exuberant. It would be wonderful. And we can be like that, trusting in the Lord. But verse 9 says, "The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately sick. Who can understand it?" We can't trust our own hearts, unfortunately. "But the Lord," it says, "will search the heart and test the mind and give every man according to his ways." So the Lord can look at our hearts and help our hearts go along in the right direction. Now, I want to give you an example of this, and it's in 2 Peter chapter 3. Peter here was talking about the last days, and he says this, verse 3, "Know this first, that scoffers will come in the last days with scoffing, following their own sinful desires." Well, look at that for a moment. Their hearts or their desires are hard. They want this world to be what it is. They say, "Where is the promise of his coming? Ever since the fathers fell asleep, all things are continuing as they were from the beginning of creation." Well, I can tell you they aren't. Today, I would leave you a link, but there's so many earthquakes, volcanoes, floods, fires, droughts, everywhere. It wasn't like this 60 or so years ago. It really wasn't. So don't let us harden our hearts. Don't let us get used to the conditions on earth and take them as normal, because they are not normal. We rely on God's promise, and we can trust this promise that our deliverance is near. So do not give up. We will see these things come true if we put our trust in the Lord and not in man. I'll leave a link below to Bible Hub, because there was a lovely commentary about Jeremiah 17 and verse 1. Take care, and God bless.